Hello and welcome. Today is Wednesday, November 6th, and it is a very interesting and highly emotionally charged day for many people. I a little PSA is the goal is not to get political. The goal, I actually just wrote this talk 15 minutes ago to provide inspiration and support and to help us get grounded for anybody who's feeling not so great about anything that happened with the election last night. Again, this is not to be political or divisive, but if you're celebrating and not mourning, this might not be the recode for you today. So I literally feel like it's my responsibility to show up with inspiration and support because that's what I do. And we have the ability to choose whatever we want to focus on, to choose our response. Um, and so I rescheduled the previously planned recode, and we'll do that later. And so if we just want to take a second and just take a couple deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth with a sigh. And like I said, I literally I'm gonna wing it and speak from the heart. And I have a couple of bullet points I want to speak to and some nuggets of wisdom. Because fuck, like the amount of mourning, it's a really hard day to be an empath. I literally in the last 3 months, my empathic ability has been turned up by like tenfold. So it's a really hard day to just feel the mourning and the sadness that's coming from people. And that's okay. And so I'm actually going to speak a little bit to the astrology and a little bit to what's interesting. And then we're going to get grounded and centered and talk about action plan. Like, what can we do to support ourselves if we're not if we feel unsafe or uncertain? Because that's where like my superpower shine is helping you feel safe and certain and secure. And so like I just made this talk, but it's called Life is Happening for Us Always. And so how can we glean the nuggets of gold? How can we choose what we're going to focus on, choose to stay in our power and what our action steps are moving forward, and give ourselves a lot of grace to have emotional reactions between now and then before we get into action. So I don't know a ton about astrology. I just know enough to be dangerous, but I know that we're like with the age of Aquarius and all the things that are shifting, we're really in a phase of Pluto right now, and Pluto's anti-establishment. And basically in the election, we had a choice between big government and big corporations. And Pluto's response is fuck that, fuck all of it. And so it's very much about independence and overthrowing the the establishments that are no longer serving us. And so I don't like it's an old South Park quote, but it's like we were choosing between a douche and a turd sandwich. It's like there was no real super good or super clear choice. Especially because astrologically, our bodies are responding to the stars because we are made of star stuff, and our whole thing is burn it all down. And so in this way, it's a gift because now we can see how broken our system is and things like that. I heard this, I felt because I'm disappointed. I'm genuinely disappointed that so many people in our country could choose hate and bigotry and narcissism and racism and like all and like divisive things. And somebody shared this with me is that, or I saw it on Facebook this morning, that people on the misery index simply voted for the devil that they already know. And so the misery index is a measure of economic hardship. These are people, and I don't know, I've never even heard the term misery index on a cursory Google search. It's basically like people that are living at or below the poverty line or near the poverty line that don't feel like they have a lot of, they're basically just reacting. They're in a place of fear. And so they are listening to messages that are resonating fear because they're afraid. Like they're in a place of hardship and scarcity. So somebody talking about hardship and scarcity resonate, and like we need to fix that as the problem resonates with them. And in this membership, in anything you ever do with me, problem solving will never get you where you want ever. Problem solving is the mindset our country was created in. I mean, think about like the revolution or we had a problem over taxation by England. What are we going to do? Have a revolution, throw tea in a bay. So like we, more than any other country, we are ingrained and conditioned to be problem solvers. So we have to have problems to solve. And that's why this whole membership is like, how do you shift your mindset? How do you change your life to be from problem solving to conscious creation? Because when you are a hammer, everything's a nail. When you are a problem solver, everything will be a problem and you will find endless problems in your life. And the issue we're facing today is that there are so many people in our country that are living in fear, that are living in a problem solving mindset. And so that means the work that we're doing now for ourselves, we do it for ourselves and our loved ones and our communities. Like when we shine our light in the conscious creation mindset, which is dreaming our world into being, deciding what we want, getting crystal clear on the vision, visualizing it, being in the energy of it, taking action steps to releasing the resistance. By changing ourselves, we will change the world. And so that's why I felt this like deep responsibility to tie in what are we doing in the membership and how is this actually changing the world at large, one person at a time, starting with us. And so I want to just give you grace and space. It's like, it's really okay to have emotions today, to be really upset or disappointed or angry or whatever. And, and because if you don't feel your emotions, if you stuff it, that's when you can get things like ulcers and cancer or crazy stuff. But when you suppress your emotions, that's when they last longer. If you can actually express your emotions, Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that, and all of his research shows emotions, like the neuropeptides of emotions in your brain and body, last for a minute to 2 minutes max. So if you've ever felt an emotion longer than 2 minutes, it's for two reasons. Either you're holding on to the unconsciously holding on to that emotion because it's comfortable or it's safe. And by comfortable, I mean you've experienced that emotion before. Great example is anxiety. I lived my life for decades with anxiety, as my primary emotion. So things that could be anxious, I cling to anxiety because I'm comfortable there, even though I don't want it, even though I don't like it, it doesn't feel good. It is familiar, is a different way to say comfortable. And so emotions only last 2 minutes unless you're clinging to something familiar or you're resisting feeling. And so that's why I would encourage you to find outlets today, tomorrow, this week, consistently and continually express your emotions until you don't feel like they're boiling up and over anymore. And there's a lot of different ways you can express emotions, like anger. One of my favorite, there's been so many in my local community. There's a smash room. And there's been so many people that are like, are you open today? Are you open for 12 hours? How many people can you take at a time? I have about 40 people that want to come. So like, smash room, very, very helpful way to express emotions in a safe way, breaking glass bottles or whatever that is. In a safe, as long as you've got eye protection, you could do that at home. I actually used to I lived on a balcony, and when there was nobody around, I went to and I was angry, this before smash rooms were a thing 20 years ago. I would go to the thrift store and buy dishes and throw them off the balcony onto the cement, like from a, 12-foot distance, and then watch them shatter. It was I felt so good. It felt so releasing. To be like, I'm angry and whatever, getting it all out. And then I would sweep it all up and throw it away like it never happened to me. It feel so good. So like healthy ways of expressing our emotions include things like smash rooms, or if you don't have access, you don't have time to walk away, angrily fluffing pillows. I was like, I can tell you my couch is going to look great today because picking up pillows and then shit out of a couch or whatever, fluffing your pillows, a great way to express anger in a healthy way. Journaling, releasing emotions, that's always a good thing. I would always recommend, if you're journaling out negative emotions, do it on a piece of paper. Don't do it in a pretty journal you want to keep forever, because you want to get that, like, think about it as like toxins. You want to get it up and out of your body, journal on a piece of paper, and then burn. Like, that is such a cathartic and releasing mechanism. Another thing that's really great, and I'll put some resources if you don't know anything about this. I'm going to teach 2 different types of tapping spontaneously because this just came to me. I'm going to teach you 2 different types of tapping that are great for emotions. I'll put resources in that Facebook post like immediately following this, or like an hour or so later. But EFT, emotional freedom technique, is amazing. You can Google EFT, whatever emotion you're feeling, EFT for sadness, EFT for disappointment, anxiety, EFT for anger. So you can Google that and tap along with videos, and they'll tell you how to do it. And so what we can do, but I'll just do a little bit of it right now, so in case it might take me an hour or 2 to get resources in. So there's different air EFT is you tap on different areas of your body while you say a phrase. And it's even though I have X emotion, I love and accept myself anyways. So we'll do just a quick round. And then we'll go to the next tapping technique, and then the regularly scheduled programming I wrote. But the first point is a karate chop of your hand. You can do one side at a time, or I just tap them both together. And as you're tapping the points, you'll say this phrase again, and you guys are all on mute, so you can say it as out loud. It has to be out loud, even if you're in a place where you don't really hear you can like just say it quietly. Even though I have anxiety, I love and accept myself anyways. Even though that's the top of your head, even though I'm angry, I love and accept myself anyways. Inner eyebrow, and you can say the same phrase again and again. You can switch it up inside of the eyebrow. Even though I'm deeply disappointed, I love and accept myself anyways. Even though, and it's the outside of the eye, like on your temple, just lightly tap. And you could tap either side, it doesn't matter. I just happen to be tapping your right side. Even though I have a lot of sadness, I love and accept myself anyways. Underneath your eye, even though I'm afraid, I love and accept myself anyways. Underneath your nose, like on your upper lip, even though I have anxiety, I love and accept myself anyways. Below your lip on your chin, even though I'm so afraid, I love and accept myself anyways. In your collarbone, it's like 1 inch down from your collarbone, but just tap till you find a point that's tender. That's the spot. Mine's like in a half, like from the point of my collarbone, in a half an inch down, like an inch or so, but just underneath your collarbone, tap till you find a soft spot or a lightly tender spot, and then lightly tap it. Even though I'm disappointed, I love and accept myself anyways. And then the next point is actually like below your nipple on your rib. And again, you'll find a soft spot, and even though I'm afraid of being judged by the world, I love and accept myself anyways. And then the very last one is down from your armpit, about the same height of like where your rib cage ends ish. Again, tap on whatever spot feels a little tender or feels different than the other. Even though I have anger, I love and accept myself anyways. And so you can do that. That's a round of tapping. You can do that again and again and again and again, always saying a phrase, even though I have blank, I love and accept myself anyways. And then you just keep tapping until you feel better. So EFT, they've done so many studies on like veterans with complex PTSD that is untreatable by anything else in psychology. They did tapping, and these people like got their lives back. So like it is amazing. Amazingly powerful, and you can Google it. It's readily available. This next type of tapping, I'll be real, for some reason EFT's good, but it doesn't resonate with me as much as this next technique. And this is something I don't know where it came from. I learned it from my herbalist. And it's the same tapping points, but it's a different methodology. And this one is like the most powerful thing. And I like genuinely feel this make quick shifts. So I'm going to teach you this methodology too. It's the same tapping points we went through. And again, I'll put a tapping, you can Google like EFT tapping points and get a picture. I'll put it in the chat, in the Facebook post shortly. But I don't know if it has a name. I call it right side, left side tapping. And so you only tap the middle points and the right side, because the right side is the masculine, and you say the worst possible thing. Like, and it's like, it's letting the skeletons out of the closet, letting the fears, the emotions, the beliefs, basically literally purging all the toxins and all the bullshit in your brain and all the scary things out of your body while tapping on the left-hand side. And then when you feel complete, you move to the right-hand side is first. Then when you feel complete, you move to the left-hand side. So the masculine side of your body is the right side, and it's doing all the digestion, the breaking up. Basically, it's doing the smash room process, like taking those beliefs and smashing them. And then the left-hand side is the feminine side of your body. And so this is like releasing and releasing. So you tap on the right in the middle, and then when you're done and you feel complete, you tap on the left and the middle side. And this really resonates with me. So we'll just follow along if you want to. Again, these are just great techniques you can use. I'm going to do them fairly quick, but you can spend as much time as you want in this. So we're going to tap on the same points, the karate chop point in the hand. And I tend to start it with what if statements, like, what if this is the worst thing that ever happened? What if what if this negatively impacts my life and the world? What if my friends and family are in danger? Like, what if I'm not going to be okay? What if, and you just say all these negative things, and you, again, you always want to say it out loud. You're vocalizing, like, what if, like, this causes significant damage to the climate and the environment? What if this is just reinforcing bigotry and hatred in our community? What if this has put us back 100 years in our freaking timeline? What if women lose their rights? Like, what if the tapping points? I'm just the underneath your nipple. This is liver 18 or something. Like, what if this actually really creates World War III? Like, what if this is a negative thing and it really destroys our entire world and life as I know it? So it would tap through, and again, you would keep going until you don't have anything left to say. But then I'm gonna just mirror and teach you what the right hand side is. So you again, or sorry, left hand side. I'm getting confused. Right hand side is mechanical digestion, all of the bullshit, everything you're trying to get out. Left side is cleaning and rinsing. And so it's like, what if this is a gift? What if this is showing us that our political system is broken and it inspires people to change? What if this moves people into action in a way like we've never seen before? What if we're able to rally and marginalized communities are supporting? What if we are actually seeing the world change and it's going to be okay? What if this is a blessing and a gift? What? All I can think of is, what if I'm going to be okay? It's like, and what if everyone's going to be okay? And then again, with the tapping points, it's like, what if this is going to make big changes in our government and our world? What if this is a good thing for us? And I realized I skipped the temple point, but honestly, you can't do this wrong. You can forget points, you can forget whatever. It's all helping process fear out of your body. And the reason why we tap on those points, tapping in general is ancient Chinese medicine. We're tapping on acupressure points for the different organs in our body. And in Chinese medicine, each organ is associated with an emotion. Liver is associated with anger. I get confused, like gallbladder and stomach, I want to say, are shame. I think because I don't know. Anyways, I don't know the organs exactly. I just know liver's anger because I've worked through a lot of anger issues and I have been working through a lot of liver issues too. So in Chinese medicine, each emotion is held by a specific organ. And so you're tapping on the organ systems. That's like what these points are, is it's a acupressure point for these organ systems, kind of waking them up, shaking, releasing the energy, all of that. And mixed with, so tapping is ancient Chinese medicine mixed with in like modern day psychology around the like vocalizing the fear, letting it out, and things like that. So again, I'll provide resources. That's a thing you could do on your own time. I just wanted to kind of take you through an example, because finding healthy ways to express your emotions today and always having these tools is really important. I'm also realizing, I'm going to write this down. I have a whole video called Getting Untriggered, where I talk about some of the things I just did. I go deeply into the tools about how you get untriggered. I'm going to share that in our group and just on my Facebook as a resource, or sorry, on my Facebook page as a resource. So allowing yourself to have the emotions and giving yourself that space is so important. And when you're ready to, like, because we can spend however long it takes in grief, fear, anxiety, whatever emotion you might be experiencing, you get to spend however long you feel like you need in that space. And then it's time for movement. It's time for action. It's time for transformation. So like a concept, we're in a Phoenix moment, and we're in the pain point of the burning down phase. So like the Phoenix energy, if you're not familiar, it's like you have to burn it down to be reborn, to build it again. Which is very prevalent in my Burning Man community culture, is like you build something and then you burn it and you release it and then you build new and fresh again. So we're in this like Phoenix moment where we're in the pain of the thing, but sometimes you have to burn it down and release so that we can build something. So again, giving yourself time and space for emotions. My next point is, what's next? What action are you going to take? And it's really for me, it's about what's in my, reminding yourself like I'm safe, I'm secure. Like although I have fear, and that's the interesting thing. What we're experiencing is grief, but it's really anxiety, which is fear of the future. And that means we're not living in our present moment. Because in my present moment, like I'm safe, I'm in my house. Yes, things could change in the future and I could not be safe. But like our power and authority and our everything exists in this moment, and then this moment, and then this moment. Like our power is in our presence. And we get sucked into these like, regret is living in the past, anxiety is the fear of the future. And so what a lot of us are experiencing is anxiety over what's going to happen. So bringing it to the present moment, and what is in my authority, what can I do right now? Because we get to choose, after we have our emotional experience, we get to choose how we respond. And this is where we get into like Jedi mindset mastery, is what we're all working towards, is being unshakable. And unshakable meaning like our inner peace, like my happiness, maybe temporary happiness, it is affected today, but like I wake up tomorrow or whenever I'm ready, and it's a brand new day, and I'm ready to be like full kitty, full expressed again, and I'm going to shine my light, and I feel empowered, and I'm taking that over and taking that back. So after we have these emotions, we step back into what are we choosing to respond as. And Viktor Frankl says the millisecond, and this is like when somebody says something to you, whether you react or respond, the millisecond between a stimulus and our response, in that millisecond is all our freedom. Viktor Frankl wrote the meaning, Man's Search for Meaning, and it's a really powerful book. I recommend you read. Talking about the presence of the power moment. If you want to read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, that was a life-changing book. Just understanding that the past doesn't exist, the future hasn't been created yet. And if we can take authority of our present moment, we can actually change the future. So we can choose to respond after we have our human response and we work through our emotions. We can choose to respond in hatred and fear and anxiety, or we can respond in love and compassion and courage, action. And it, although those things might feel far off right now, like I'm like, it'll be a brand new day for me tomorrow or the next day or whatever. I don't feel like I have a lot of courage in me. And yet I know that I will and I can. And so I have where I find my deep inspiration. And this is a brand new thing. I had to take my bracelet off for a workout last night, but I actually have a bracelet that's a silly thing I started this year. It's my word of the year is trust. Trust the process, trust myself, trust the divine, trust that everything is happening for me. So even this year, I've made a massive transformation in feeling and believing and knowing in my heart that everything is happening for me. I trust the process. I trust the outcomes. Even when, I go for something like for, a good example is I was nominated for Extraordinary Speaker of the Year for a couple of years. I didn't win. And I can trust that happened for me. It's in my greatest and best good that I didn't win. And it's in the greatest and best good of the person that did win. So and that was heartbreaking. If you didn't know me at the time, that was like one of the most heartbreaking moments of my life, because I was nominated twice and then lost twice. And then wasn't even nominated this year. So I have some emotions on that, and that's okay. And what I did, and this is a perfect example, I turned that heartache and hardship into action, into conviction, into determination. What I said this year when I wasn't even nominated, I said, oh, looks like I'm playing too small of a game. I need to step up my speaking. I'm literally right now, I'm looking at doing a speaking tour in San Francisco at 7 different chapters. I might be speaking at the launch of the Illinois dot chapter. Like I'm getting out there. Like I'm going to do this because it's my purpose, but like I took my heartbreak into action instead of being like, and I definitely had an emotional response, and I let myself feel that. And I said, okay, cool. Now what? How can I show up bigger, better, greater, so I can step into that dream? So I know that's a microcosm of an example of winning that award or whatever, but how can we apply that today? How can we choose? And that's where I'm getting, like I said, I've got a lot going on right now, and I'm choosing to double down, quadruple down, remind myself every 5 minutes if I need it. Everything is happening for me. Everything is happening in my greatest good, and my belief system is everybody's greatest good. Like everything happens for a reason in our greatest and best good. That does not mean it's not going to get way dark before the dawn. But if you don't know that something's broken, you can't fix it. And like the sheer fact that somebody could be convicted of voter fraud and that and be a felon, and that doesn't bar them from running for the presidency again, that's a broken system that I didn't know existed. And you better believe I'm going to start taking action, whatever I can do around that to support that. And so like we get to find the gifts. You know what I mean? Like my belief system, and I would encourage you to at least borrow this belief for today, is that if everything's happening for us, there's always a gift. There's always wisdom. There's always learning. There's always some positive nugget we can glean out of it. And like to give you another, to pull it out of this example, because when you're in it, it's so hard to see. Like you can't see the forest for the trees, sort of thing. But like, I'll give you another one of my real life examples where I've applied this principle to a really hard thing. So I grew up in a home of lots of child abuse and neglect. And I was like a latchkey kid, having to take care of myself, feed myself, get myself to school when I was 4 years old and in kindergarten. Like I was basically independent. And so like, that's not great. That's not, and guess what? Looking back, so I stayed we can stay in victimhood, or we can choose to be in empowerment and like take our power back and be responsible for our own emotions, our own reactions, how we're going to respond, all of these things. And so like I spent decades in the victimhood of like my family situation and like, oh, poor me. It's oh, poor me, because of all these negative things happen to me. I'm uniquely disadvantaged. Everybody else is coming from a better place. Oh, interesting. I love that note. I'll tune into that in a second. And it's so fascinating to me how you can choose to shift. So after decades of healing and working through it, and now this is the beauty in this membership, you guys have the tools. You can shift. You don't need 2 decades of sitting in victimhood and sadness around this. Is that we can glean and say, what are the gifts? So guess what I learned being latchkey kid at 4 years old? I'm independent. I can take care of myself. Like I know that I got me in a way that most people, if you've had caregivers that took care of you, you probably don't have the depth of independence of like, shit goes down and I always have me. I can always count on me to show up for myself. I learned that in single digit age. So what a gift. What a gift that I can be independent and all of these things. And I also learned that, I don't need other people to find my happiness. I can be fun and playful and happy all by myself. Like I can just be me without anybody else affecting me. And so like there are always, always, always gifts that we can glean. And again, the point is not to dredge up a bunch of sad things, but to show you like when you apply these principles, and I've been working at this for a long time, to be able to see like literally my biggest trauma and abuse and neglect and all of this as one of the most beautiful gifts I've ever gotten. Same thing. I fell downstairs and basically broke my leg and it wouldn't heal for a year and a half. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. And it ruined, I said for 5 years, this ruined my life. Fast forward 15 years, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be a coach today. I wouldn't be speaking to you right here, right now, had I not fallen down the stairs. So like, what a beautiful, it was really hard to see when I was in the pain and the experience of it. But now looking back, it's a gift. And so I am remaining today and always vigilant in my belief that I can find the gift, no matter how hard, no matter how bad. There is always a gift, and God damn it, I will find that gift. I will find some positive element or aspect. I'm committed to that because that's part of my personal growth journey, is being wise enough to know. And if you don't see the gift right now or tomorrow or next week or next year, that's okay. Like I said before, and the whole point of why I love everything I do is I want you guys to have accelerated timelines, not 5 years of being in the victimhood of an injury to then be able to find the gift. But days like today will challenge us. They shake us, and we can choose whenever we're ready to step into empowerment, to find the gifts, find the positive outcome. And in my job, like, is my responsibility is to find the good and to find the gifts and to choose how am I going to show up and support. And so like all of my LGBTQIA brothers and sisters that are scared, and like this is really powerful because I'm deeply associated in this community. They're scared and they're hurting. So guess what? I'm going to show up for them. I'm going to support them. I am worried about women's rights. You better believe I'm going to go be canvassing or whatever it takes. I'm going to find a way to take action to support whatever it takes because I have the authority. That's my job. Is like I found that there's these things that need protecting, like our rights, equal rights, women's rights. You better fucking believe I'm gonna go for whatever it takes to do that. And that's such a gift because had the election gone the other way, it's really easy. I'm very comfortable. I'm not directly marginalized. It's easy for me to be sit in my chair and watch and and just see things and help a little bit. But now I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I'm gonna take action and I'm gonna do what it takes and I'm gonna show up for other people and support them. And so the gift, what a gift that I'm inspired. It's not the way I wanted to be inspired into action, but you better believe it. And so and it's really interesting how we can find the gift in everything. And so I would encourage you, whenever you feel like it, is how can you find that gift? How can you decide what action you want to take? And I want to read you this quote. I found it yesterday when I was in a place of fear and anxiety. And again, I didn't say this, but I want to say it. Worrying is praying for an outcome you don't want. So like what if, and that's why it's nice to do the right side, left side tapping, is you let out all that bullshit. So it's not a worry in my subconscious. It's like, what if literally this leads to World War III or something horrific on that scale? Like what if all women lose their rights and that's a fear that I have. And if I don't express it through that right side, left side tapping or however you want to journal it out, burn it. If I don't let it out, it's in me. And then that burns away. So worrying is praying for an outcome you don't want. But this quote really spoke to me yesterday. Freedom doesn't mean the absence of all restrictions. It means possessing unshakable commitment, conviction in the face of every obstacle. And so how can we be unshakable? So in my opinion is being unshakable is the Jedi mindset mastery of like tuning in and but it give yourself the space to feel your emotions, human emotions. If you don't, you resist them, you feel them longer. It's toxic positivity. Just put a smile on today, everything's okay. So feel your emotions, and then the and the ground and like support your nervous system. So what can you do? Like deep breathing, giving yourself grace, taking a bath, like all of these things. So release your emotions, support your nervous system, and then decide what action you could take. What's in your, how can you be responsible for your emotions? And that might be like I've got some phone calls I'm gonna make to just offer an ear and support. And like I'm leading a polka dot meeting tonight, and I'm literally gonna make a sign that says free hugs and put like, because I don't know if I have a button anymore, but I'm literally just gonna be like free hugs. And that's something I can do immediately to support people. Like, and so how can we be in this place where we can build our unshakability? So no matter what happens in the external world, we're doubling down on the conviction that I'm not only am I going to be okay, I'm going to be a better person for everything that's going on, and I'm going to show up, and here's what I'm going to do. And so anyways, that's the whole point, is how do we not allow fear and worry and negativity to pollute our mind? And it might be a day or a tough week or whatever, but next week, next month, how are we going to get into action? How are you going to be unshakable? And so we're gonna do a quick grounding meditation and jump into a recode. But I leave you with this, like it's a parable and then a question. Is somebody, I heard this secondhand, but it was like, like the Unabomber or something, as some massive tragedy happened and a little kid was scared and like just feeling uncertain, and that child's mother said, look for the helpers. Don't focus on the people, like don't give any attention and energy to the negative people that are creating the problem. Focus on the people that are showing up to fix it. Like focus on the helpers. Don't focus on that. And so the question I'm going to leave you with, and that I've been asking myself all day long is, what am I choosing to focus on? Because we choose our focus. So we can choose to focus on the things that are giving us anxiety, or we can choose to maybe unplug from social media, give ourselves some time and space, and then choose again tomorrow, the next day, whenever, to create the world we want to live in. We can choose to consciously create our reality, even if we feel like we're living in the apocalypse, which we kind of feel like right now. So anyways, if you're wanting to play along, whenever you're ready, take a deep breath, close your eyes, feeling grounded in your seat, supported by the chair or whatever furniture you're sitting in. Taking deep breaths into your nose and out through your mouth. Imagine roots growing out of the bottoms of your feet. And these roots are growing down, down, down into Mother Earth. You are always held, supported, and loved by Mother Earth. So just feel your roots being supported. And any excess energy, any energy that's no longer yours, the energy that's not serving you, imagine it draining out of your body, through the bottom to your feet, down through your roots. Any unhelpful thoughts, any thoughts that are on a rampage that are running wild, let them go, let them drain out of the bottoms of your feet. Any emotions that are no longer serving you, let them drain out of the bottoms of your feet. Anything that is not in your greatest and best good in this moment, letting it drain out of the bottoms of your feet. And Mother Earth is amazing at recycling, mulching, transmuting energy. So everything you give to your Mother Earth is being transformed, recycled, renewed. So as you drain this energy out of your roots, notice that this loving, supporting energy from Mother Earth is actually coming back up your roots and filling your entire body. This loving, supporting, guiding energy from Mother Earth is filling your feet, your lower legs, your knees, your upper legs, your pelvis, your abdomen, front and back, belly and chest, pouring into your arms, this grounding energy from Mother Earth, going all the way down to your fingertips, your wrists, your forearms, your elbows, your upper arms, filling your upper neck and chest, your neck, your head, allowing this guiding, supporting, loving energy of Mother Earth to clean and rinse away any emotions, any thoughts in your brain. And then this energy, after touching every cell in your body and filling every cell with the loving support of Mother Earth, this energy spills out of the top of your head and into your field. And every inch of your field is filled with this grounded, supporting, loving energy of Mother Earth. Letting everything that's no longer serving you drain away. Being grounded and supported by Mother Earth. Refocusing our attention on our heart space. Taking a couple deep breaths into our heart. And just noticing, breathing into our heart space, tuning into living a life you love. What does living a life you love look like to you? So do your best to visualize and tune in. When you're living the life you love, what does it look like? Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? Taking time to tune in. What living the life you love looks like to you. Not ignoring anything that's happened today, but just setting it to the side, putting it on a shelf for now. Focusing on what living the life you love sounds like, smells like, taste like? Any physical sensations associated with living the life you live? How does it feel? How does it feel to be living the life you live? Tuning into the energy and the emotions of what living the life you love is for you. Really focusing on these emotions, your best possible outcome in life, 10 years in the future of you living the life you live. What does that look like? What does it feel? And 2 deep breaths anchoring into that. Take a deep breath and come back to now, to the current version of you, the one sitting in your seat. And notice all the places where you have fear, scarcity, anxiety, disappointment, anger, all the places in your life where you feel, and we're only going to be here for 10 or 15 more seconds. All the places in your life where you're not living the life you want. Letting your inner critic speak, letting the fear, like the fearful voice inside of you speak for just 5 more seconds. All of this is just resistance. All the places in our life where we're afraid, all the places in our life where we're having a response or reaction, all that we don't want, all the places in our life where we feel like we're not living a life we love is all just resistance. So please label your resistance with a number on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is low and 10 is high. 10 is I have a high level of resistance. I have a lot of emotions. There's a lot of places in my life where I'm not living the life I love. There's a lot that fear voice has to say. Whenever you have that number, it'll intuitively pop into your head on a scale of 1 to 10. But 1 is a low level of resistance, 10 is a high level of resistance. Whenever you have that number, pop it in the chat or in the Facebook post. This is your beginning number. We're going to go through our recode, and then you're going to have your ending number in just a minute. 7. Again, no wrong answers. This is just your subjective response. Numbers popping in your head. Perfect. 9. Okay. And whenever you're ready and you have your number, you can close your eyes again. Just take another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Oh. The only thing I need from you is to say either out loud or in your head, I give Kitty permission to connect to my superconscious. Awesome. Thank you so much. And just remind yourself in your head, I choose to live the life I love. Saying that in your head. Regardless of my circumstances, I'm committed to living a life I love. I choose to live a life I love. Letting these words wash over you as the superconscious does all the work. Superconscious, are you there? Do all aspects and parts of their treatment or all aspects and parts of the treatment team? Again, if you're new to recoding, you just take deep breaths, keep your eyes closed, let these words wash over you. Observe everything, expect nothing. Superconscious, are you there? Superconscious, do you see the resistance in alignment with desire? I deserve, I commit, I am, I trust, I am, I will, I can, I know how, especially focused on I trust, I can. Any resistance on any of those statements or any alignment, tag and treat and do a message changes. Silent moments, the superconscious doing their work. Your superconscious is stepping in and healing and supporting you. Superconscious, do you see the resistance in broken definitions, agreements, and secondary intentions? Please tag and treat will maximize change history. Superconscious, do you see the resistance and beliefs, limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, our country, other people, the world, limiting beliefs we have about the future? Tag and treat and do a massive change history. Superconscious, do you see the resistance And part personalities, any part of us creating, holding on to, or manufacturing any level of resistance, please tag and treat and do a massive change history. Super conscious, do you see the resistance in events, the original event, any past, present, and future events across timelines, planes, and dimensions? Tag and treat and do a massive change history. Super conscious, do you see the resistance in emotion, past, present, and future emotion, whether they're ours in origin or handed down to us? Any emotions that are not in alignment with living the life we love, tag and treat and do a massive change history. Super conscious, do you see the resistance in our memories, judgments, thoughts, mental patterns, negative feedback loops, and stories that we tell ourselves, decisions and choices we've made, and the judgments we have on them? Any mental conditioning, any mental chatter that's not in alignment with living the life we love, tag and treat and do a massive change history. We're not just, you see the resistance in past history and or past lives and family history, please tag and treat and do a massive change history. Super conscious, do you see where we are struggling with our focus on the good, struggling to find the gifts, tag and treat and do a massive change history. Super conscious, anywhere we're resisting feeling our emotions, tag and treat and do a massive change history. Anywhere where fear, anxiety, anger, disappointment, doubt is running and wreaking havoc in our nervous system, tag and treat and do a massive change history. Super conscious, do you see the resistance in our body's energetic system, chakras, meridians, auric fields, central channel, radiant circuits, any of our body's energetic systems, creating, holding on to, or manufacturing any level of resistance? Tag and treat and do a massive change history. Super conscious, do you see the resistance in our body's physiological systems, organs, muscles, bones, cells, DNA, any traumas, emotions, or dis-ease trapped in our tissues, creating, holding on to, or manufacturing any level of resistance? Tag and treat and do a massive change history. Super conscious, please continue to identify, tag, and treat any remaining resistance we have and living the life and release it, tag, treat, do a massive change history in a way that is safe and comfortable and supportive for us. And super conscious, please ground on the memories we have touched today, especially memories 1, 2, and 3. Reconnect them to the matrix of the universe, connecting heaven and earth through our bodies. Take a deep breath and tune in. What is your current level of resistance against living the life you love on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is non-existent? I know that no matter what is happening around me, I will always be living the life I love. I'm already on my way. I feel it now. And 10 is a high level of resistance. What's the number that pops out to you intuitively? Your current level of resistance. Love it. At a 9 to a 2, a 7 to a 2. I absolutely love it. So the final step, we're gonna do one thing and then I'm gonna tell you a little story and then we can wrap up our time together today. The next thing is an action step. What are you gonna do today to express your emotions, to calm and ground your nervous system? What are you going to do today to support you in whatever you're experiencing? Write down that action step and be vigilant and committed to completing and doing that action step so that you can support and love yourself in the process. You can step into responding, taking responsibility for what is in your control, like your response and your focus and all these things. And you can stand in your power. So after, I'll give you just another 20 seconds to write down your action step that, like I said, non-optional, committed action step for today. And I'm going to leave you with a story of the Chinese farmer. Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. And that evening, all of his neighbors rallied around him to commiserate, and they said, "We're so sorry to hear that your horse has run away. That, this is such bad news. This is a bad thing that happened." The farmer said, maybe it's bad, maybe it's good. And the neighbors were all confused. And the next day, the horse came back and it brought 7 wild horses with it. And that evening, all the neighbors came back and said, "Oh, what a good thing that happened. That, your horse ran away, but he came back with and now you have all these new horses. Like, isn't it your lucky day? It's a great turn of events. This is good." And the farmer said, maybe. The next day, his son was trying to break one of the horses. And as he was riding it, he was thrown down and he broke his leg. And the neighbors came to this man and said, "Oh, what bad news. I'm so sorry. Your son broke his leg." And the farmer said, maybe it's bad, maybe it's good. The next day, the army officers came around to the house and knocked on the door, recruiting young men. And his son with the broken leg was rejected from the army and going to war. And again, his neighbors came to him and said, "Isn't that great? It's good news." To which the farmer said, maybe. So the point of this story is bad and good are relative. Breaking your leg could be bad, but it could be good. It is all the perspective and the spin, and we don't have enough information in the story to make a decision on what's bad and what's good. But the whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it's impossible to tell whether anything happening in this moment is bad or good, because you never know what will be the benefit or the consequence, the good or the bad thing. Like, you don't know what's coming after this. So just holding faith that as I read this story about the Chinese farmer, anything can be bad and anything can be good, and we get to turn anything and everything into what we want. So I appreciate you all being here today. It's an emotionally charged day. I hope you feel inspired or at least slightly supported. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and the stream, and I'm happy to open up for questions or anything.